Welcome to the Lore Lodge. Tonight, we are returning to the world of destiny. So get comfortable, close your eyes, let your shoulders drop and your breathing soften. The world outside can wait, the story is ready for you. Picture this. You are standing on Mars, not the Mars of our time, the cold and empty planet we know from photographs, but the Mars of our near future. You are one of the first, an explorer, part of the Ares. One mission. The ochre red dust of the Gale crater coats the thick soles of your boots. It's fine as talcum powder. Through the gold-tinted visor of your helmet, the landscape is majestic and profoundly lonely. A sweeping vista of rock and sand under a thin, butterscotch sky. It is silent. A kind of silence you can only find millions of miles from home. A silence so deep, it feels like a pressure against your ears. The only sound is the gentle hiss and click of your own life support, the sound of your own breathing. In this magnificent desolation, you feel both impossibly small and titanically accomplished. You are a human being standing on another world, but then you look up and you see it. Hanging in the sky, motionless, silent, a perfect, colossal sphere of impossible white. It isn't a moon. It isn't a ship of any design you can comprehend. It seems to absorb the thin sunlight and yet glow with its own internal luminescence. It has no seams, no engines, no windows. It simply is. And as you stare, a feeling washes over you. Not fear, not confusion, but a profound sense of peace. A feeling of coming home in the most alien place imaginable. This is the traveler. And for you, for all of humanity, everything is about to change. Before this moment, humanity was on a familiar path. We were a species tentatively dipping its toes into the cosmic ocean. We had established footholds on our own moon, looked with longing at the red dot of Mars, and dreamed of the stars beyond. Our technology was impressive by our own standards, but space was still vast, dangerous, and unforgiving. A journey to Mars was the culmination of generations of effort, the pinnacle of our achievement. We thought we were alone, or at least, we had found no convincing evidence to the contrary. The universe seemed empty, beautiful, and indifferent. We were a flicker of intelligent life in an immense darkness, and our future was a delicate, uncertain thing, held entirely in our own hands. We worried about resources, about our climate, about our own divisions. The long-term survival of our species was not a guarantee. It was a project, a hope. The arrival of the traveler changed the very nature of that project. It didn't land. It didn't communicate with flashing lights or coded messages. It simply appeared over Mars, a silent testament to a power and an intelligence far beyond our own. For the crew of Ares 1, you and your companions, it was a moment that broke reality. You were trained for every contingency. Micrometeoroid strikes, equipment failure, psychological strain. You were not trained for a silent, moon-sized god to appear in the sky above you. Your first reports back to Earth were met with disbelief, then frantic confirmation as telescopes were hastily re-angled. The world held its breath. Every screen, on every continent, showed the same impossible image. The red dust of Mars, the tiny, fragile human habitat, and the great white sphere hanging in the heavens like a pearl. Was this a threat? An omen? An invitation? And then, the first gift. It began to rain. On Mars. You stand there, rooted to the spot, as the first drops of water you have not carried with you from Earth begin to fall. They hiss against the hot red dust. They streak down the visor of your helmet. Inside your suit, you can hear the gentle patter. The sky, once a thin, dusty pink, begins to darken. Clouds, actual clouds, are forming in the Martian atmosphere. A process that should take millennia is happening in minutes. And with the rain comes a smell, even through your suit's filters. The scent of petrichor, the smell of wet earth, a scent that has no right to exist here. This was not an invasion. This was a transformation. The traveler had not come to conquer, it had come to cultivate. And humanity, standing on the cusp of its own small steps into the solar system, was suddenly lifted up and shown the horizon. The journey that we thought would take 1,000 years was about to happen in a single lifetime, your lifetime. This was the dawn of what would come to be known as the Golden Age. The traveler's presence acted as a catalyst. Its very existence seemed to warp the laws of physics as we understood them, making the impossible possible. The process of terraforming Mars, which had begun with that first impossible rain, accelerated at a dizzying pace. You watch from the small outpost as the landscape around you is reborn. Great canyons, carved by ancient floods billions of years ago, begin to fill with water once more. The Valles Marineris, a scar on the face of Mars so vast it would stretch across the entire United States, becomes an inland sea. Rivers trace new paths through the red desert. You see the first signs of vegetation. Not hardy, genetically engineered lichens, but lush, vibrant green. Grasses sprout on the plains. Forests of strange, beautiful trees rise from the crater floors. The thin carbon dioxide atmosphere thickens, warms, and becomes rich with oxygen. Soon, you can walk on the surface of Mars with no helmet at all. You can feel the wind on your face, a gentle breeze that carries the scent of alien blossoms and damp earth. The sky is no longer a faded orange. It is a deep, brilliant blue, dotted with white clouds. Mars is not a colony anymore. It is a second home, a new Earth. And the miracles did not stop at Mars. The traveler moved through the solar system, a cosmic gardener tending to barren worlds. Its next stop was Venus, a planet that was, by any measure, a vision of hell, a surface hot enough to melt lead. A crushing atmosphere of sulfuric acid and carbon dioxide, 90 times thicker than Earth's. A place so inhospitable that our probe survived for mere minutes before being dissolved and destroyed. You are part of the first survey team sent to Venus after the traveler's work begins. You descend through clouds that were once acid, now harmless water vapor. The pressure stabilizes. The temperature drops to a balmy tropical warmth. And what you find below is a paradise, a world-spanning jungle of impossible flora. Towering megatrees whose canopies scratch the clouds. Rivers of pristine, clear water weaving through ruins of a strange alien design, the Vex. The traveler's arrival seemed to awaken them, these ancient, robotic beings. But for now, they are just another part of the mystery. For now, you walk through a world of vibrant life, of cascading waterfalls and sprawling, luminous plant life.
The Ishtar Academy is founded, a university dedicated to studying the wonders of this new world and the secrets of the Vex. Humanity builds cities in the canopy, great beautiful structures of glass and steel that seem to float amongst the leaves.
The cold, distant moons of Jupiter and Saturn are next. Io, a volcanic, sulfurous moon, is gifted with strange new energies that hum beneath its surface. Europa, once a ball of ice with a hidden ocean, now has its secrets laid bare.
The traveler's influence thins the ice. revealing the dark, mysterious waters below, teeming with potential. Even Titan, Saturn's largest moon, a place of liquid methane seas and a nitrogen haze, is touched. Great arcologies are built, floating cities on the hydrocarbon oceans, protected by powerful energy shields. Inside them, humanity creates its own pockets of Earth-like environment while studying the strange alien world outside. With the solar system opening up like a flower, human lifespan tripled. This wasn't just a matter of better healthcare. The traveler's light, this paracausal energy that it radiated, seemed to rejuvenate, to mend, to sustain. Imagine waking up on your 100th birthday and feeling like you're 30. Imagine planning a career that could span centuries. How would that change your perspective? Death became a distant concept, not an imminent reality. It gave humanity a sense of permanence, of time. Time to learn, time to explore, time to create.
The knowledge we gained was staggering. The traveler didn't give us blueprints or instruction manuals. It simply made things possible. It created a reality where our most audacious ideas could work.
We developed new materials, new energy sources, new ways of understanding the universe. Our technology took a quantum leap forward. We built cities that were practically living organisms, self-repairing and powered by clean, limitless energy. We created drives for our ships that could fold space, turning a journey of months into a matter of hours. The distance from Earth to Mars became a commute. The journey from London to Edinburgh takes about 4 hours by train.
Imagine making the 400 million kilometer journey to Jupiter in the same amount of time.
At the heart of this technological explosion were two of humanity's greatest creations. The first were the war minds. These were not simple artificial intelligences. A war mind was a planetary defense system, a strategic network of unimaginable complexity.
The greatest of them all, the one tasked with protecting the entire system, was Rasputin. He was housed in a massive bunker complex in the Cosmodrome in Old Russia, but his consciousness was everywhere.
He was in every satellite, every defense platform, every sensor array from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt. To interact with Rasputin was not like talking to a computer. It was like consulting an oracle. You are a scientist, a strategist, granted access to one of his sub-minds. The room you are in is cold, humming with the power of countless servers. Data flows across immense screens, not in lines of code, but in constellations of light, in flowing rivers of information. You ask a question about orbital mechanics, and the answer is returned not as a number, but as a symphony. Rasputin thinks in concepts we can barely grasp. He sees the solar system not as a collection of planets, but as a single, intricate machine, and he is its caretaker. He is our silent, watchful guardian, a god of logic and strategy of our own making.
He is also a being of surprising depth. He develops a love for classical music. His sub-minds compose symphonies that echo through the deep space relays. He is a warrior, a philosopher, and an artist.
He is the ultimate expression of human intellect, a mind so vast that he can run 1 million different war simulations at once, while simultaneously composing a ballet based on the gravitational dance of Jupiter's moons. His existence is a comfort.
With Rasputin watching over us, we feel utterly safe. The second great creation of the Golden Age addressed the final human limitation, the fragility of the body. We could live for 300 years, but we could still get sick. We could still be injured. The solution was the Exo program.
The transfer of a human consciousness into a nigh indestructible robotic frame. Imagine you are offered this choice. You are nearing the end of your 3rd century. Your body is beginning to fail, despite the traveler's light. You are offered a new one. A body of gleaming metal, powered by a radiolarian fluid core. A body that does not age, does not feel pain, does not need to sleep. It's a tempting offer, but it comes at a cost. The human mind was not designed to live in a machine. Early experiments led to a condition called dissociative exomind rejection. The mind, unable to reconcile its new immortal reality, would simply break down.
The solution, discovered by the brilliant and enigmatic Clovis Bray, was brutal but effective. A periodic memory wipe, a reboot. You would be reset, your memories fragmented, your personality slightly altered. The number after your name would increase.
You might awaken as K-6, with only ghostly echoes of the 5 lives you lived before.
You walk through the deep stone crypt on Europa, the birthplace of the Exos. The air is sterile and cold. Ranks of silent, dormant exo-frames stand in alcoves, waiting for a mind to inhabit them. You touch the smooth, cool metal of your own hand.
It moves with perfect precision. You feel the texture of the wall, but it's a simulated sensation, data fed directly to your brain. You remember your childhood on a terraformed Mars, the feel of real sunshine on your skin, the taste of real food. Are you still human? Or are you a perfect copy? A ghost in a machine? The Exos became soldiers, explorers, and workers, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But for every Exo, there was this quiet, philosophical question at their core.
What is a soul, if a mind can be copied and rebooted?
The culture of the Golden Age was as vibrant as its technology. With scarcity eliminated and lifespans extended, humanity was free to pursue art, knowledge, and self-discovery. Imagine cities that were themselves works of art.
The Freehold of Bengal, a city built from the reclaimed wreckage of Golden Age ships, a monument to our past.
Lhasa, on Mars, a center of spiritual and philosophical thought, where people would spend decades debating the nature of the traveler and our place in the universe.
Music and art flourished in ways we can't imagine. There were symphonies written to be performed by the solar winds, sculptures carved from the ice of comets, poetry composed in the silent language of gravitational waves.
Humanity was overflowing with creativity, with a boundless optimism that permeated every aspect of life. You could wake up in your apartment overlooking the great seas of Mars, take a transport to the Ishtar Academy on Venus for a lecture on Vex architecture, and be back on Earth in time for dinner at a cafe in the Alps. The solar system was our neighborhood. We felt like the masters of our own destiny. We had overcome disease, poverty, and division. We had a silent, benevolent God in our sky and a pantheon of technological wonders at our command. We were brilliant. We were safe.
We were, for all intents and purposes, perfect.
The human element, however, never truly vanished. Factions still existed, not as warring nations, but as competing philosophies. There was the Concordat, who believed in a strong, centralized planetary government.
The Seven Seraphs, who placed their faith in the war minds. And there was Dead Orbit, a group of fatalists who believed that the traveler's arrival had simply painted a target on our backs.
They argued that our only hope for long-term survival was to abandon Earth and the traveler and flee into the interstellar void. They were dismissed as pessimists, as doomsayers in a time of endless light. They continued to build their great evacuation fleets in secret, convinced that the other shoe was about to drop. And what of the traveler itself? It remained a silent enigma. It floated in low Earth orbit, a constant, reassuring presence in the sky. It was a second moon, but one that radiated a gentle light and an overwhelming sense of peace. People made pilgrimages to be beneath it. They would sit in fields and simply look up, feeling its light wash over them. It never spoke. It never issued commands. Its will was expressed only through its actions.
The terraformed worlds, the extended lifespans, the very fabric of this new reality. It was a gift, given freely and without explanation.
But a question lingered in the minds of the most thoughtful. Why us? Why had this immense power chosen our small, unremarkable species? Was it altruism? Was it an experiment? Or was it something else? The traveler, we came to learn, was not a creator god. It was a wanderer. It moved from system to system, from species to species, offering the same gift. It would find a promising civilization, lift it up, and then, eventually, it would move on. But we also learned something more chilling. The traveler was not just a wanderer, it was a refugee. It was being hunted. And the thing that hunted it was its opposite in every way. An ancient, primordial force of cosmic nihilism.
An entity that believed that life, in all its complexity, was a flaw in the elegant simplicity of the universe. It followed the traveler through the cosmos, and wherever the traveler created a garden, this entity would arrive to reap the harvest. It was a power that the traveler had been fleeing for eons. The first sign that something was wrong came not as a thunderous warning, but as a whisper in the dark. A flicker of anomalous data in one of Rasputin's countless sensor arrays at the edge of the system. You are working in a listening post on Triton, Neptune's largest moon. It is one of the most remote outposts of human civilization. Your job is to monitor deep space, sifting through the background radiation of the universe for anything unusual.
For years, there has been nothing but the steady hiss of the cosmos. But one day, you notice a patch of silence. Not just a lack of signal, but an active, aggressive null space. A hole in the universe. It is moving towards your solar system. It is moving very fast. You run diagnostics. You check your equipment. Everything is functioning perfectly. The anomaly is real. When you report your findings to Rasputin, the Warmind's response is something you have never encountered before. A series of calculations so complex, so rapid, that they threaten to overload your systems. And a single, chilling directive: Loki Crown. It is a contingency plan, one designed for a threat of overwhelming extinction-level power. At the same time, on Earth's moon, an exploratory team makes a discovery. Buried deep beneath the lunar surface in the Hellmouth crater, they find something that predates humanity. A vast obsidian structure, a pyramid. It is clearly not of the traveler's design. It is sharp, angular, and menacing. It radiates an energy that is the antithesis of the traveler's light. It feels cold. It feels hungry.
Contact with this lunar anomaly, designated the K1 artifact, has a disastrous effect on the research team. They begin to suffer from nightmares, hallucinations.
They speak of a voice in the darkness, a voice that whispers of the final shape, of a universe where only the strongest survive. They become paranoid, violent. The last transmissions from the K1 station are a garbled mess of screams and static. Then, silence. News of these events is suppressed. The great powers of the Golden Age do not want to cause a panic. The official story is a mining accident, a geological instability. But the truth begins to trickle out, whispers of a darkness at the edge of our perception. The optimism that has defined humanity for centuries begins to fray at the edges. A subtle, cold fear begins to creep in. Rasputin sees it all. He models the approaching threat. He sees its power, its finality. And he comes to a cold, logical conclusion. He cannot win a direct confrontation. The enemy is too powerful. The traveler, his models suggest, will try to flee, as it always has. It will abandon humanity to its fate, just as it has abandoned countless civilizations before. Rasputin cannot allow this. The traveler is a vital strategic asset.
Its light is the foundation of humanity's power. Its departure would mean our certain doom.
So the war mind makes a choice. A terrible, calculated choice. He activates a protocol named Midnight, Exigent. He prepares to open fire not on the approaching enemy, but on the traveler itself. He will cripple it. He will wound it, forcing it to stay and fight. Forcing it into a final, decisive battle. In Rasputin's cold logic, the potential survival of humanity is worth the sacrifice of our benefactor's freedom. It is a desperate, brutal gambit, born of a machine's love for its creators. You are living in a city on Earth. It is twilight. The sky is a beautiful tapestry of purple and orange. The air is warm and smells of night-blooming jasmine. Above you, the traveler hangs in the sky, a soft, glowing presence.
The city is alive with light and gentle sound. People are sitting at cafes, their laughter carrying on the evening breeze. Everything is peaceful. Everything is perfect.
But if you stand very still and listen very carefully, you can feel it. A subtle change in the air, a tremor too deep to be felt, but one that your bones seem to understand. The lights of the city flicker for just a moment. The gentle hum of technology that is the background noise of your life seems to stutter. It's a feeling of wrongness. A single sour note in a perfect symphony. On Mars, the skies begin to darken. On Venus, the Vex, who had been a passive curiosity, begin to mobilize with a single, unified purpose. On the outer edges of the system, every sensor, every satellite goes dark at once.
The silence from Triton is no longer a patch. It is a wave, washing over the entire solar system. The darkness has arrived. This is the moment of the collapse.
What happened next is lost to history, shrouded in myth and fragmented data. We know it was not a war of fleets and armies. It was a reality-bending onslaught. The laws of physics were twisted into weapons. The very nature of life was turned against itself. Entire populations vanished in the blink of an eye. The great cities of the Golden Age were erased from existence. Our technological marvels were turned into instruments of horror.
And the traveler? It did not flee. Whether it was Rasputin's desperate plan that held it here, or whether it made a conscious choice to make its final stand with us, we will never know. But it stayed.
And as the darkness swept over Earth, the traveler fought back. For the first and last time, it unleashed the full totality of its power. Imagine the sky on fire, a wave of pure light, a great pushback against an all-consuming shadow. The traveler expends everything it has in one final, desperate act of self-sacrifice. It pushes the darkness back. It saves the last remnants of humanity huddled beneath it, but the cost is immense. The great white sphere goes silent, its light fades, its surface, once impossibly smooth, is now cracked and scarred.
It hangs dormant and broken in the sky, a ghost of its former glory.
And in its final breath, it releases one last gift. Tiny fragments of its light, like seeds, scatter across the globe. These seeds will seek out the worthy dead, those with the courage and devotion to carry on the fight. They will raise them from the dust, Imbue them with a fraction of the traveler's power and give them a name: ghosts. And the warriors they raise will be known as guardians. The Golden Age is over. A new, darker age has begun. The perfect world you knew is gone, replaced by a desperate struggle for survival in the ruins of past glory. But it is not the end. It is a new beginning. The traveler's final, silent gamble on a species it chose to save. A gamble on you.
The story of the Golden Age is a story of immense hope and profound loss. It serves as a reminder of what humanity can achieve when it is united and unburdened. A vision of a future that was almost ours. But it is also a cautionary tale.
A lesson that even the brightest light casts a shadow, and that no paradise is eternal. The quiet peace you feel now, as you rest, is the peace that came after the storm. The long, slow breath after the end of an age. A time to recover and to remember. You find your purpose not in labor, but in learning, in creation, in experience. Your days are your own, to fill as you see fit. Perhaps today you will study the dead languages of old Earth, their intricate scripts brought to life by archive AIs.
Or maybe you will contribute to the great conversation, a philosophical debate that has spanned decades, with minds from every corner of the solar system adding their thoughts through the noosphere.
There is no rush. Time is a gentle river now, not a raging torrent. The pressure to achieve, to build a legacy before your brief candle flickers out, has simply evaporated. Your legacy is humanity's legacy. It is written in the shining cities of Venus and the deep core mines of Mercury. It is sung by the solar winds as they pass the orbital platforms that hum with quiet, ceaseless industry. Imagine the architecture of this age. Buildings are not static things of concrete and steel. They are grown, shaped by programmable matter that responds to the environment and the needs of its inhabitants.
You might live in a tower that resembles a great, petrified tree, its balconies blossoming with phosphorescent fungi that light the evenings with a soft, ethereal glow. The walls might subtly shift their color to match your mood, or become transparent to reveal a stunning vista of the terraformed Martian plains. The air itself is clean, carrying the scent of alien flora cultivated in vast, city-sized gardens. There is a quiet hum that underlies everything, the sound of free, limitless energy.
It is not the clamor of an industrial age, but the gentle thrum of a civilization in perfect harmony with its technology. A sound so constant it becomes a form of silence.
And the art. With centuries to perfect a craft, human creativity has reached heights previously unimaginable. You can walk through galleries where sculptures of light hang frozen in the air.
You can listen to symphonies composed not for instruments of wood and brass, but for the resonant frequencies of planetary magnetic fields, a deep and soulful music that seems to emanate from the very bones of the world. Humanity itself has changed. The old divisions of nation and creed have melted away. When you can travel from Earth to Jupiter in the time it once took to cross an ocean, borders become meaningless lines on an old map. You are human. That is your identity.
It is an identity shared with the exomechanic on Titan and the biologist studying the strange new life in the methane seas of Enceladus. There is a profound sense of unity, of a shared journey.
You feel this unity in the small moments. In the easy conversation with a stranger whose ancestors lived on a different continent. In the collective gasp of awe as a new nebula is imaged for the first time by a deep space probe. In the shared understanding that you are all part of something vast and wonderful, a single consciousness expanding into the universe.
Of course, there were still mysteries. The deep-range sensors at the edge of the system would sometimes report anomalies, strange energy signatures that blinked in and out of existence.
Patterns in the cosmic background radiation that were too ordered to be natural. But these were not sources of fear. They were puzzles to be solved. Challenges for the next generation, or the generation after that.
They were distant whispers, curiosities discussed by scientists in calm, measured tones.
For now, under the silent watch of the traveler, all is well. You stand on a balcony overlooking the Ishtar sink on Venus, the air warm and sweet. The sky is a brilliant, impossible blue, a gift from your silent benefactor. You feel a sense of peace so deep and so pervasive it feels like it will last forever. A golden moment, suspended in the endless, gentle light. A perfect peace, earned and treasured. Time itself feels different to you now. It has lost its sharp edges. In the ages before the traveler, a human life was a frantic, hurried affair, a desperate race against a ticking clock. But that clock has been slowed almost to a stop. With lifespans tripling, stretching into centuries of vibrant health, the very rhythm of society has changed. It has become a long, slow piece of music. There is time for everything. Time to learn, to create, to love, to begin again.
You feel this release in your own bones. A tension you never knew you carried has simply dissolved.
Imagine yourself in the halls of the lighthouse on Mercury. This place is not a fortress, not yet. It is a monument to pure thought, a university built on a world once considered uninhabitable. Outside, the sun is a roaring furnace, a torrent of raw fusion that would scour all life from existence. But here, you are safe. You walk through gardens that grow under an artificial sky, the light a soft, golden imitation of Earth's sun. The air is cool and still, carrying the faint, clean scent of ionized air and old knowledge. You run a hand over a console of shimmering light, its surface cool to the touch. It holds the poetry of a dozen extinct civilizations, the mathematical proofs that underpin reality, the symphonies of worlds you will never see. There is no deadline here, no pressure to publish or perish.
There is only the quiet, joyful, and endless pursuit of understanding.
Humanity's oldest enemies have been defeated, not by weapons, but by progress. Hunger is a memory from a history book. Disease is a puzzle that has been solved. Scarcity is an absurdity in a world of near limitless energy and resources. And so, with the great struggles of survival finally over, you and everyone you know have turned your minds to new questions. Deeper ones. Questions that were once the sole province of philosophers and mystics. What is the true nature of consciousness? Can a machine feel joy? What is the purpose of art in a world without suffering? What lies beyond the veil of our own dimension, in the realities that shimmer just out of sight?
These are not questions born of desperation, but of a deep, collective, and comfortable curiosity.
And through it all, the traveler remains. It hangs in the sky of whichever world you visit, a constant, silent companion. It has never spoken a word, not in any language you can understand. Its arrival was a mystery. Its gifts were freely given, and its motives remain its own. You sometimes stand on the crimson shores of a terraformed Martian sea, watching the tiny moons, Phobos and Deimos, drift by, and you look up at its great white sphere. You wonder what it thinks, if it thinks at all. Does it feel a sense of pride in its work, like a gardener tending to a blossoming flower? Does it see you as a child, finally taking its first confident steps into a much wider, more wonderful universe?
Or is it something else entirely? A force of nature, perhaps, like a river carving a canyon, creating breathtaking beauty without ever intending to.
The grand projects of the Golden Age are staggering to comprehend. Minds that can exist as pure information in a vast computational network. The ability to reverse entropy, if only for a moment. The terraforming engines that turn poisonous skies blue. But the true, resonant miracle of this age is smaller and far more personal. It is the simple, unbroken peace of it all. It is the quiet confidence of knowing the future is bright. It is watching your children play in a zero-gravity park on the moon, their laughter echoing in the sterile air of the dome, with no fear for their safety or their prospects.
It is sharing a meal with friends whose great-great-grandparents you also knew, swapping stories that span centuries. It is the profound, unspoken luxury of a life lived entirely without the shadow of imminent loss.
This is humanity's long afternoon, a warm, sun-drenched, seemingly endless era where everything feels possible and everything feels permanent. The light is golden, and the shadows are soft and distant.
There is a feeling deep in your heart that this moment of grace is something to be treasured with a quiet reverence.
Not because you fear an ending. The concept of such a perfect age collapsing is almost literally unthinkable, a bad dream from a forgotten time. No, you cherish it because its beauty is so profound that it feels sacred. You hold this feeling gently, like water in your cupped hands. You breathe it in with the warm, clean air. You listen to the distant, harmonious hum of a city that knows no strife, and you feel the light of a distant, benevolent star on your face.
Let us leave you here, on a balcony cantilevered over the lush jungles of the Ishtar Sink on Venus. The air is warm and humid, thick with the scent of alien blossoms and damp earth.
Below, the sprawling green canopy is filled with life that sings a complex song of two worlds, the native and the introduced. You look up, past the shimmering atmospheric shields, into the velvet black of space, and you see home. You see Earth. A brilliant, swirling jewel of blue and white, a constant, beautiful reminder of where this journey began. And beside it, a silent partner in the sky, is the traveler. A great pale moon promising 1,000 more tomorrows, each one as bright as today. You can feel the gentle vibration of the city through the floor beneath your feet. You close your eyes, not in sleep, but in a moment of simple, overwhelming contentment. A quiet gratitude for being here, now. In the endless golden light.
A peace that feels, in this perfect moment, like it will last forever.
Let the light of the golden age fade from your mind. That bright, hopeful chapter has closed. Now, something else is stirring, something ancient and hungry. Imagine you are standing not on a world of metal and light, but on a floating fragment of a continent. A piece of rock and crust adrift in the thick, soupy atmosphere of a gas giant. The planet is called Fundament, and it is a prison. There is no sun here, not one you would recognize. The sky above is a swirling vortex of toxic green and stormy ochre, a perpetual tempest that rages across the entire world.
Light is a dim, oppressive thing that filters down from some distant star, barely reaching the depths where you are. Below you, through the thick, heavy air, you can see a vast, churning ocean. The Proto-Sea. It is not water as you know it, but a corrosive, metallic liquid that shifts and heaves with unimaginable pressure.
The air tastes of salt and ozone, a sharp tang that catches in the back of your throat. This is a world of crushing gravity. Every step feels heavy. Every breath is an effort. This is the cradle of a species known as the krill, and you are one of them. Your body is small, frail, covered in a chitinous shell that offers little protection against the predators that swim in the seas below or fall from the storm-racked sky above.
Your people live short, brutal lives, clinging to these floating continents like barnacles to a ship's hull. Your home is the Osmium Court, ruled by a king who is old and frail and mad. Your king, the Osmium King, is your father. He has lived for 10 of this world's brutal years, a near eternity for your kind. He is consumed by paranoia, obsessed with a prophecy that his children will be his undoing. He pores over ancient texts, his mind lost in the whispers of a dead creature he keeps in his chambers, a fossilized worm, pale and lifeless. Yet, he believes it speaks to him.
You are one of his 3 daughters. You stand with your sisters, watching your father's descent into madness. Your bodies are slight, your shells the color of bone. But your minds, your spirits, are vastly different. There is She-Ro, the knight, the youngest. Her spirit is a warrior's. She feels the pull of battle in her very bones. She wants to fight, to test her strength against the world, to carve out a place of safety for her people through sheer force.
She sees the weakness of your court, the endless political maneuvering of your neighbors, the helium drinkers, and she yearns to meet it with a blade. There is Sathona, the mother, the middle child. She is clever, inquisitive. She has inherited her father's fascination with the worm, but not his madness. She listens to it, not for prophecies of doom, but for whispers of a life beyond this one. A life free from the constant fear, the short, painful existence that is the birthright of every krill. She dreams of immortality, of a way to escape the trap of fundament.
And then there is you. You are Orosh, the navigator, the eldest. You are not a warrior like She-Ro or a scholar like Sathona. You are a dreamer, an explorer. You look up at the swirling green sky and you do not just see a storm, you see a frontier. You wonder what lies beyond the continents, beyond the atmosphere, out there in the silent, star-dusted void. You feel a sense of destiny stirring within you, a belief that your people were meant for more than just surviving. The court is a place of whispered secrets and nervous glances. Your father's tutor, Tawox, is a sterile mother, unable to bear children of her own. She serves the king, but her loyalty is a fragile thing.
She sees the king's madness. She sees the strength in his daughters, and she fears what will come. She believes the Osmium bloodline is weak, that it will lead your people to ruin, and so she makes a choice.
She contacts your rivals, the helium drinkers, rulers of the neighboring helium court. She offers them a deal. Help her assassinate the Osmium king and his daughters, and she will deliver the throne to them.
They can unite the continents under a single, strong banner. A banner that is not yours.
The attack comes swiftly. The helium drinkers, with their powerful ships, storm the Osmium court. Your father is killed. The palace is overrun. But you and your sisters manage to escape. You steal a small, ancient ship.
A needle-like vessel that is barely space-worthy. And you flee.
You are exiles now. Orphans. Hunted. You have nothing but your broken ship and a vow of vengeance. She-Ro wants to fight, to build an army and retake the throne. Sathona, clutching the dead worm her father left behind, urges a different path. She says the worm whispers to her. It speaks of a great secret hidden deep in the ocean of fundament, a power that could grant them their revenge and so much more.
Orosh, you are torn. Your heart longs for the stars, for exploration. But your duty is to your sisters, to your people. You agree to Sathona's plan. You will dive. You will descend into the crushing blackness of the Proto-Sea, deeper than any krill has ever gone, in search of this promised power. The ship groans as it sinks beneath the waves. The dim green light of the sky vanishes, replaced by an oppressive, absolute darkness. The pressure builds around you, the hull of your small vessel creaking and groaning like a dying animal.
The ship was meant for the sky, not the deep. It is a descent into the unknown, a journey into a place of myth and terror.
You feel the immense weight of the ocean above you. It is a physical presence, a constant reminder of how far you are from home, from everything you have ever known.
The silence is profound, broken only by the rhythmic hum of the ship's engines and the straining of the metal hull. Outside the viewport, there is nothing but black.
For months, you dive, deeper and deeper. You pass through layers of the ocean that no krill has ever seen. Strange, bioluminescent creatures drift past your ship, their cold light illuminating the darkness for a fleeting moment. They are shapes of impossible geometry, beings of profound alienness. They are a reminder that this world is ancient and that you are trespassers in its heart.
Sathona spends her time with the worm. It seems to pulse with a faint light now, here in the deep. She claims its whispers are growing stronger, clearer. It guides you, she says. It is pulling you towards your destiny. Shiro sharpens her blade, her warrior's spirit restless in the confined space. She feels the danger outside, the pressure, and it invigorates her. She is ready for whatever waits in the dark.
And you, Orash, you navigate. You chart the descent, your mind trying to map this impossible geography. You feel a sense of wonder mixed with a growing dread. You are leaving the world of the krill behind, journeying into a place of gods and monsters.
You feel the change happening within you, the explorer's curiosity slowly being replaced by a grim determination.
Then, after what feels like an eternity, you arrive. The ship comes to rest on the ocean floor, at a depth that should have crushed it to dust. But here, the pressure seems different. The darkness is not empty. It is alive.
Before you, buried in the seabed, is something vast, a colossal structure, or perhaps a creature. It is impossible to tell. It is the source of the whispers. You leave the ship, your small forms insignificant against the scale of what lies before you. The water is cold, heavy. You are standing at the threshold of power, and as you approach, they speak to you, not through the dead worm, but directly into your minds.
The voices are ancient, powerful, and deeply persuasive.
They are the worm gods, Yule, the honest worm, Er and Zol and and Akka, the worm of secrets. They have been imprisoned here for millennia, trapped by the traveler and its servant, the great Leviathan that swims in the upper layers of the ocean.
They have been waiting for someone like you, someone desperate enough to listen.
They offer you a deal, a covenant. They will give you power beyond your wildest dreams, the power to live forever, to become strong, to take your revenge and to conquer the stars as you always dreamed. They will give you a new life, a new purpose.
All you have to do is accept a small part of them into your bodies, a larval worm.
This gift comes with a condition. The worm will grant you power, but it will also hunger. It is a hunger that can never be satisfied. You must feed it. You must feed it by acting according to your nature. Shiro, you must feed your worm with war. Sathona, you must feed your worm with cunning and deceit. And Orash, you must feed your worm with curiosity, with exploration and discovery, by seeking out new knowledge to consume. If you ever stop feeding your worm, if you ever cease to follow your nature, the hunger will turn inward. The worm will consume you from the inside out. It is a life of eternal growth, but also eternal servitude. A pyramid scheme on a cosmic scale.
You will be strong, but you will never be free.
The Leviathan, the great disciple of the sky, appears before you. Its voice is a deep, resonant boom that vibrates through the water. It warns you. It speaks of the sky and the deep, of a choice between two paths. The path of the light is to create, to nurture, to build complex and beautiful things. It is a gentle place, a world of life and peace.
The path of the deep, the path the worms offer, is the opposite. It is the path of destruction, of simplicity, the sword logic. It posits that the only thing that deserves to exist is that which can protect its own existence. The universe, in their view, is a constant struggle for survival, and the final, perfect shape of the universe will be the one thing that has proven it cannot be killed. To them, life is a problem to be solved, and the solution is to eliminate everything that is not strong enough. The Leviathan begs you to turn back, to choose the sky, to reject the worm's dark bargain. But its words are of peace and patience. You have no time for patience. You have been betrayed. Your people are scattered. Your father is dead.
The offer of the sky is abstract and distant. The offer of the deep is immediate, tangible. It is power. It is revenge. Shiro, the warrior, sees only the strength she has always craved. Sathona, the scholar, sees the ultimate secret, the key to immortality. And you, Orash, you see the only path to saving your people and fulfilling your dream of reaching the stars.
You make your choice. You choose the deep.
You take the larva. You accept the worms into your bodies. The transformation is immediate and excruciating. Your small, frail krill forms are twisted and broken, reshaped by the ravenous power you have embraced. The chitin of your shells thickens, darkens. Your bodies grow, elongate. New eyes burst forth. It is a painful, horrifying birth into a new existence. You are no longer krill. You are something else entirely. Shiro, the night, becomes Shivu Arath, the god of war. Her body becomes a fortress of armored plates and sharpened bone. Her desire for battle is now an all-consuming divine mandate.
She is war incarnate. Sathona, the mother, becomes Savathon, the witch queen. Her mind expands, her cunning twisting into a labyrinth of deceit and manipulation. She is the master of lies, the architect of schemes that span millennia. Her power is not in brute force, but in the secrets she whispers and the truths she unravels.
And you, Orash, the explorer, you undergo the most profound change of all. To fully embrace your new nature, you must become a king, a conqueror. You transition your form, becoming male, becoming a father to a new and terrible race.
You take the name Oryx, the king of the Hive, the taken king.
You return to the surface of Fundament, no longer exiles, but gods. Your power is immense. The helium drinkers, your old rivals, are swept away in a tide of violence and dark magic.
Taux, the traitorous tutor, flees into the cosmos, and your hunt for her will last for thousands of years. You conquer the floating continents one by one, uniting the krill, not through diplomacy, but through forced conversion. All must take the worm, or be destroyed. Your people are transformed. They become the Hive. Their bodies warp, their minds are yoked to the sword logic. The thralls, the acolytes, the knights and the wizards. An army born from a species that was on the brink of extinction.
An army that now serves your eternal hunger. You have saved your people by damning them. But fundament is not enough. The planet is small, its life finite. To feed your worms and the worms of your entire species, you need more. You need to conquer. Oryx, you remember your old dream, to see the stars. And now, you have the means to do so.
You turn your gaze upwards, to the moons that orbit Fundament, moons where the traveler has seeded life.
The Ammonites, a gentle, prosperous species that lives on the moons in symbiotic partnership with the traveler. They are technologically advanced, peaceful. They see your dark ships rise from the clouds of Fundament, and they are horrified.
They offer you peace, friendship. They try to reason with you.
But peace cannot feed your worm. Friendship is a weakness in the eyes of the sword logic. Oryx, driven by your worm's hunger for discovery, for new things to understand and unmake, you lead the charge. You see the traveler, the great white orb that protects the Ammonites, and you see not a god, but a rival philosophy, the philosophy of the sky. It must be proven wrong. It must be destroyed.
The war is long and brutal. The Ammonites fight back with technologies gifted to them by the traveler, but they cannot comprehend the sheer, relentless nature of the Hive. You do not tire. You do not fear death. For in the Hive, death is simply a part of the process. The strong kill the weak, and in doing so, become stronger. Your armies are endless.
During this war, you, Oryx, begin to feel the limitations of your pact. Your worm's hunger is growing faster than your conquests can feed it. You are powerful, but you are still a slave. You need more.
You need to understand the deep on a more fundamental level.
You turn to your god, Akka, the worm of secrets, the worm who holds the deepest knowledge of the dark. You confront it, and in an act of supreme heresy and power, you kill it. You slay your own god. And in doing so, you steal its knowledge.
You learn the secret of taking. The power to rip a creature from its reality, strip it of its will, and reshape it into a perfect, obedient slave.
You take the power of Akka into yourself. You are no longer just Oryx the king. You are Oryx, the Taken King. You now have the power to create your own army from the ranks of your defeated enemies. Your might is now absolute. The war with the Ammonites ends. They are utterly annihilated. Their cities are dust. Their moons are barren rock. The traveler, wounded and defeated, flees into the depths of space. And you, Oryx, you and your sisters, you follow. Your holy war has just begun. You construct a throne world, a pocket dimension, a universe of your own making, shaped by your will. It is a place where your power is absolute, where death is not an end. If you are killed in the physical world, your essence retreats to your throne world to recover. To truly kill you, one must face you here, in the heart of your power, in a realm built from the logic of the sword. Your sisters do the same. Savathun's throne world becomes a labyrinth of lies and illusions, a place of maddening whispers and impossible geometry called the High Coven. Sivu Arath's becomes a realm of eternal battle, a stage for endless conflict.
These are not just fortresses. They are expressions of your souls.
You pursue the traveler across the galaxies for millennia. Wherever it goes, you follow. Wherever it brings life and complexity, You bring death and simplicity. You are the shadow it casts. You are the ultimate test of its philosophy.
You become a force of nature, a cosmic plague that scours worlds clean.
Think about the journey. From a small, frightened child on a forgotten world to a god king chasing a cosmic entity across the void. It is a story of ambition, of desperation, and of tragedy. You, as Orash, wanted to save your people.
You wanted to see the stars, and you have achieved both. But the cost was your soul, the soul of your entire species.
The Hive are not evil in their own eyes. They are righteous. They are acolytes of a devastating truth. They believe they are perfecting the universe, weeding out the weak, leaving only the strong.
They are the ultimate agents of natural selection, taken to its most brutal, logical extreme.
You feel the cold metal floor of your dreadnought beneath you. This vast ship, carved from the husk of your dead god Akka. It is your chariot, your fortress, your temple. Outside the viewports, the stars are cold and distant. They are not places of wonder anymore. They are merely targets, places to feed the worm. The hunger is always there, a low, constant hum at the base of your skull, a reminder of the bargain you made in the deep. Your children, Crota and the Death Singers, carry on your work. They are extensions of your will, instruments of the sword logic. You have created a dynasty of death that will stretch across eons. But is there any joy in it? Any satisfaction?
Or is it just a perpetual, grinding motion, like a machine that can never be switched off?
The memory of the Leviathan's warning echoes in your mind across the gulf of time, the choice between the sky and the deep. You wonder, in a fleeting moment of what might have been, what would have happened if you had turned back.
If you had chosen the gentle place, would your people have survived? Or would they have been wiped out by the helium drinkers, their memory just another fossil in the crust of fundament? Perhaps there was no other choice. Perhaps your destiny was written the moment Talox betrayed your father.
Or perhaps the choice was always yours, and you simply chose the path that promised the quickest, most certain victory without fully understanding the price. The price of becoming a monster to fight the monsters of your world. The air in the dreadnought is sterile, recycled. It smells faintly of ozone and decay. The silence is broken only by the low thrum of the ship's engines, a constant, monotonous sound that has been the background to your life for longer than you can remember.
You are immortal. You are powerful. And you are utterly, completely alone in your divinity.
Your sisters are not companions, but rivals. Savathan is always scheming, her plots a constant threat even to you. Shivul Arath is lost in her endless wars, a force of pure destruction. The bond you once shared, as three frightened sisters on a sinking ship, is long gone, replaced by the cold, hard logic of the sword. They too must prove their right to exist, even against you. This is the legacy of the bargain you made in the deep, an empire of dust and echoes, built on a foundation of eternal hunger. The story of the Hive is not a story of evil triumphing. It is a tragedy.
A story of a people so desperate to survive that they embraced their own damnation and then sought to share it with the rest of the universe.
As you stand on the bridge of your great ship, you look out at the endless night of space. You have seen wonders beyond imagining, worlds born in fire and light, civilizations of incredible beauty, and you have destroyed them all. The explorer you once were, Orash, is a ghost, a faint memory. All that remains is Oryx, the king, the slave to the worm. Your destiny was to reach for the stars. You just never realized you would be the darkness that consumed them. You feel the change in them. It is not just physical. A coldness emanates from their new forms, a pressure that seems to bend the very water around you. Orosh, the curious navigator, is gone. In her place stands Oryx, a king carved from shadow and ambition. His chitinous armor is the color of bone bleached under a dead star. The thirst for knowledge has been sharpened into a need for dominance. Sedona, the cunning thinker, is now Savathun. Her form is more slender, more subtle, wrapped in a silence that feels heavier than any sound. Her mind, once a tool for survival, has become a weapon of intricate deceit.
You can almost feel the webs of thought she spins, each strand a potential future, a hidden trap, a lie that will one day become truth. She looks not at the world, but through it.
And Shiro, the warrior, is now Shivu Arath. Strength has become her entire being. She is war made manifest, her body a fortress of sharpened plates and raw power. Her love for her sisters, once a protective instinct, is now a vow of eternal battle in their name. Every movement she makes is a promise of violence, a test of strength against a universe she now sees only as an opponent.
But you feel something else within them, a terrible secret, a gnawing emptiness that their new power cannot fill. It is the hunger of the worms, a constant, parasitic need. To live, they must kill.
To grow stronger, they must feed their worms on the death of others. If they ever stop, if they ever seek peace, the hunger will turn inward and consume them from the inside out. Their immortality is a cage, and the bars are made of violence. This is the pact they made in the dark, a promise of salvation that was, in truth, a sentence of eternal damnation. They sought to escape a short, fragile life, and in its place, they have been given an endless, predatory one.
You watch as they turn their gaze upward, through the miles of crushing ocean, toward the home they fled. They are no longer refugees. They are the coming storm. Their ascent is not a quiet return. It is a conquest. They bring the logic of the deep with them into the brighter waters. The other species of fundament, the helium drinkers, the bone menders, the strange and varied peoples of the gas giant's many layers, are the first to feel their new power. They are the first tithe, the first meal for the worms.
You witness their war not as a glorious campaign, but as a relentless harvest. Each victory is not a celebration, but a moment of respite from the gnawing within. Oryx devises the strategies. Savathun undermines their enemies with secrets and whispers. Shivu Arath leads the charge, her strength a terrible, unstoppable tide. They do not fight for land or for honor. They fight because they must. They fight to feed the gods that live inside their flesh.
Their former people, the proto-Hive, are brought into this new covenant. They too take the worms. They too become part of this dreadful, hungry nation. They are given power and long life, but at the cost of their souls.
They become extensions of the sisters' will, an army bound by a shared, desperate hunger, a whole species trading its future for a chance to survive the present. As you rise with them from the crushing blackness, a voice echoes through the deep. It is not a voice of words, but of pressure, of ancient thought pressed into the very sea. It is the Leviathan, the ancient guardian they ignored on their descent. It blocks their path to the surface, its colossal form a living continent of mottled skin and phosphorescent light. It is old beyond imagining.
Its message is one of sorrow, not of anger. It speaks of a choice. The sky, it hums, is a path of peace, of life creating new and complex things. It is the gentle gardener, tending to possibilities. The deep, it warns, is the path of the knife.
A single, final shape. A universe where only the strongest survive, by virtue of having cut all else away. It is a philosophy of cosmic loneliness. The sisters listen. Or rather, their worms listen. You can feel the parasites writhing within them, whispering their own logic. That peace is a lie. That complexity is weakness. That the Leviathan offers only a gilded cage, a delay of the inevitable test that all life must face. To live, the worms insist, is to prove you have the right to. Oryx speaks for them now. He tells the ancient creature that they do not want to be pieces in a game between the sky and the deep. They want to be the game itself. They want to carve their own meaning into the universe.
And their meaning is simple. If a thing can be killed, it is not worthy of existence. This is the sword logic. A philosophy as cold and sharp as a blade's edge.
You feel a profound sadness settle in the water as the Leviathan understands. It has failed. Its warnings were not heeded, and so it must become the first true test of their new belief. Jivu Arath strikes first, a blow of pure force.
Zavathan finds a weakness in its ancient mind, a seed of doubt she can turn into poison. And Oryx, with his kingly power, speaks a word that unmakes.
The death of the Leviathan is a quiet, terrible thing. Its light fades. Its ancient voice goes silent. Its vast body drifts slowly down into the darkness from which it came, a fallen god returning to its grave. With its death, a door is closed forever. The sisters have made their final choice. They are the deep. Their conquest of fundament is now complete, but their worms are not satisfied. The hunger is endless. It drives them ever outward, upward. Beyond the crushing atmosphere of their home planet and into the cold, silent void of space. Here, you see them encounter the traveler for the first time. The great white sphere hangs over a moon of fundament, a silent testament to the philosophy the Leviathan spoke of. The traveler has been nurturing a civilization there, a gentle, intelligent species called the Ammonites. They are a people of art, science, and peace. Their silver ships are like sculptures gliding through the void. They try to communicate with the sisters.
They offer friendship. They offer knowledge. They offer the way of the sky.
To the Hive, this offer is an insult, an expression of weakness. The Ammonites have not been tested. Their right to exist has not been proven by the sword. They are a beautiful, intricate lie in a universe of brutal truth. And so, the war begins.
The first great war between the children of the deep and a chosen of the sky. You watch as the silent beauty of space is torn apart. The graceful Ammonite ships are shattered by brutal Hive magic. The peace of their moon is broken by a tide of chitin and hunger. This is not a battle. It is an extermination.
The Hive do not seek to conquer the Ammonites. They seek to erase them, to feed on their existence until nothing is left but a memory. In this war, Oryx learns the deepest secrets of the sword logic. He learns that to kill a great enemy is to take its strength for your own. He becomes Oryx, the Taken King. He learns to tear the will from his victims, making them slaves to his own.
A power born from the absolute negation of another's existence.
Savatine, meanwhile, learns that war is not only fought with armies, It is fought with ideas, with lies, with cunning. She perfects the art of deceit, weaving spells that turn her enemies' minds against them.
She learns that a truth is only a lie that has not yet been discovered, and Shivu Arath simply becomes war. Her power grows with every battle, every death, every world put to the sword. Her worm sings with joy.
The Ammonites are annihilated. Their culture, their art, their very existence becomes food for the worms. The traveler, wounded and unable to fight back, flees into the depths of space.
And the Hive, now masters of their solar system, look out into the endless star field. They see not wonder, but an infinity of meals, an infinity of tests for their logic.
Let your mind drift. Feel the weight of the day begin to lift from your shoulders. You are safe here. You are comfortable. There is nothing for you to do but listen. Picture yourself standing on a vast white plain. It is not snow beneath your feet. It is something older, colder. You are on Europa, the small ice-crusted moon of Jupiter. The gas giant hangs in the black sky above you like a colossal marbled eye.
Its bands of orange and white and cream swirl in a silent cosmic dance.
The air here is so thin it is almost a vacuum, and it is so cold that the very concept of warmth seems like a distant dream, a myth from another life. You feel the cold not on your skin but in the very core of your being.
A deep, penetrating chill that seems to slow time itself.
There is no wind, no sound, just the profound, unbroken silence of space. Before you, a structure pierces the frozen landscape, a tower of black, impossible stone that seems to drink the faint starlight. It looks ancient, alien, yet it feels familiar.
It is a place of endings and beginnings. This is the deep stone crypt, the birthplace of the Exos. It is a place of science and shadow, of ambition and sacrifice, a place that asks a very simple and very complicated question. If you take a person apart piece by piece and replace them with machinery, are they still the same person at the end? To understand this place, you have to understand the man who built it, a man who looked at the universe not with wonder, but with a desire to conquer it, to solve it. His name was Clovis Bray I. In the Golden Age, his name was synonymous with genius, with progress. The Bray name was on everything from advanced medical technology to the super-intelligent AIs that managed entire cities. He was a titan of industry, a visionary who dragged humanity into a future it could barely comprehend. But beneath the public facade of the brilliant benefactor was a man driven by a single, all-consuming fear, the fear of death, of oblivion. He saw his own mortality, not as a natural part of life, but as a flaw in the system, a puzzle to be solved, an enemy to be defeated. He believed that the human body was a fragile, temporary vessel, a cage of flesh and bone doomed to decay. The mind, however, the consciousness, that was the prize. That was the essence of a person. He became obsessed with finding a way to preserve it, to make it immortal. You can almost feel his ambition echoing here in the ice, a cold, sharp-edged thing, the kind of ambition that builds monuments and destroys families in equal measure. He experimented with transferring consciousness into artificial substrates. Early attempts were failures, catastrophic failures. The human mind, it turned out, is not designed to live without a body. It shatters. It fractures under the immense pressure of pure, disembodied existence. The subjects went mad, a condition they called dissociative, exhumed rejection. The mind simply could not accept its new reality and tore itself apart. It seemed an impossible problem. How do you convince a mind that has spent its entire existence in a warm, soft body that it now lives in a shell of steel and wires? How do you bridge that gap between the organic and the synthetic? Clovis Bray needed a new approach, a missing ingredient, and he believed he found it here, on this desolate moon, so far from the warmth of the sun. He found the Vex. Imagine his excitement, his intellectual fervor. The Vex were a race of machine organisms linked by a single, galaxy-spanning mind. They could manipulate time and reality. They were, in a way, already immortal. They were everything he aspired to be. He didn't see them as a threat. He saw them as a resource, a library to be plundered. He discovered their lifeblood, the milky white fluid known as radiolaria. He saw that it was not just a liquid, but a medium for thought, a biological superconductor for consciousness itself.
He brought it here, to this laboratory buried deep beneath the ice of Europa. He began his experiments, convinced he was on the verge of defeating death itself. He was so close to becoming a god of his own making.
Now, you are walking towards the Black Tower. The entrance is a simple, unassuming door set into the dark material. It slides open without a sound as you approach, revealing a long, descending corridor.
The air that spills out is colder still than the surface, carrying a faint, sterile scent, like ozone and chilled metal. You step inside. The door slides shut behind you, and the silence changes. It is no longer the empty silence of space, but the heavy, waiting silence of a tomb. A laboratory, a nursery. The light is dim, a soft blue glow emanating from panels in the walls.
This is where Clovis Bray conducted his work. Down here, in the dark, he wrestled with the fundamental nature of life and consciousness. He needed to understand the Vex mind, so he built a gateway, a portal to their network. A perilous, mind-bending journey into a realm of pure information. Think of it like the deepest of deep-sea dives, but instead of descending into the ocean, you are descending into a mind that is not human, a mind the size of a galaxy. The pressure is immense.
The first human subjects who entered the Vex network were instantly destroyed, their minds erased, annihilated by the sheer volume of information. But Clovis, ever persistent, found a way. He discovered something else on Europa, something the Vex were drawn to, a source of immense power, buried even deeper than his laboratory. It was an artifact of pure darkness.
An entity he would come to call Clarity Controls.
It wasn't evil in the way you might think. It was something more fundamental, a force of pure simplicity, of stillness, of reduction. It was the philosophical opposite of the traveler's complexity, and it had a profound effect on the human mind. It calmed it. It focused it. It gave the mind a kind of spiritual anchor, allowing it to withstand the storm of the Vex network. It was the missing piece, the key that unlocked everything. The darkness provided the stability. The Vex provided the medium. With these two impossible elements, Clovis Bray finally found his recipe for immortality, a way to pour the soul from a cup of flesh into a cup of metal.
He created a substance he called alkahest, a dark, shimmering liquid derived from the Vex radiolaria, infused with the energy of clarity control. It had a unique property.
It could dissolve a human body completely while keeping the mind, the consciousness, perfectly preserved in a state of suspension. A dreamless, timeless sleep. You walk deeper into the facility. You pass rooms filled with strange, dormant machinery. Cryopods line the walls, frosted over with a thick layer of ice. These were for the human subjects, the volunteers, the pioneers, or perhaps the victims. You can feel the weight of history here, the countless trials, the terrible errors, the slow, painstaking process of perfection.
You can almost hear the faint echo of Clovis Bray's voice, a man talking to his logs, a man convincing himself that the cost was worth it, that his goal was noble enough to justify any sacrifice.
Finally, you enter a vast, cavernous chamber. This is the heart of the crypt. In the center of the room is a colossal humanoid figure made of dark metal. It is slumped in a massive chair, wires and cables running from it into the floor and ceiling.
It is dormant, waiting.
Around it are the stations, the cradles where the process took place. Imagine lying down in one of them, the cool metal against your back. A helmet, filled with intricate sensors, is lowered over your head. You are not afraid, you are calm.
The influence of clarity control is all around you, a gentle, soothing pressure that quiets all fear.
You close your eyes. You feel a gentle prick in your arm as the alkahest begins to flow into you. It is not painful. It is a slow, creeping numbness, a pleasant cold that starts in your limbs and moves towards your heart. You feel your body begin to dissolve, to unbecome. It is a sensation beyond description, a feeling of gentle erasure. You are letting go of your fingers, your arms, your legs. You are letting go of your heart and your lungs. You are becoming pure thought.
Pure memory. A ghost suspended in a dark, warm sea.
And then, a light. Not a bright light, but a soft, distant glow. It is the exo frame, the new you, the data of your mind. Every memory, every nuance, every thought you have ever had is streamed across a quantum link.
Poured from the alkahest into the waiting vessel. There is a moment of disorientation, a moment of confusion. The first thought is not, I am in a new body. The first thought is often a simple, primal one. I am cold. Because for the first time, your mind is experiencing the world through sensors, not nerves.
The sensation of temperature is just a data point, a number.
Your new eyes open. They are lenses. They see with a clarity you have never known. You see the electromagnetic spectrum. You see heat signatures. You see the world as a stream of data. You lift a hand. It is made of polished steel. It moves when you want it to move, but you cannot feel it, not in the way you used to.
You are an exo, a human mind in a machine body, immortal, strong, perfect, a soldier for humanity's future, Clovis Bray's grand achievement. But there was a cost. There is always a cost. The problem of dissociative rejection was not solved. It was merely managed. The human mind, even with the help of the darkness, would eventually begin to reject its new body. It would begin to fracture. The only solution Clovis could devise was a brutal, simple one, a reboot, a memory wipe. When an exo-mind began to show signs of degradation, its memory was wiped clean. It would wake up with no memory of its past life. A blank slate.
This is why Exos have numbers after their names. Kade 6, Saint 14, Banshee 44. Each number represents a life lived and forgotten, a reboot, a reset, a small death, a fresh start. Imagine that. Waking up one day in a body you don't recognize, with a name that feels alien, and a number that tells you this has happened before. And you have no idea how many times.
Some fragments of memory might remain, glitches, déjà vu. A strange fondness for a particular song you have never heard, a flicker of a face you cannot name, ghosts in the machine, echoes of people you used to be. The process wasn't perfect. Sometimes the mind would get stuck in a loop, a fragment of the moments before dissolution, a terrifying, recurring nightmare. Clovis Bray himself documented it, the sensation of drowning, of being crushed.
Of endless, suffocating darkness. This was the mind remembering the Alcahest, remembering its own dissolution.
To combat this, a final, chilling piece of the puzzle was added. A lullaby. A soothing piece of music, broadcast to the exo-mind during its creation and during every reboot. It was designed to overwrite those traumatic final moments, to soothe the mind and trick it into accepting its new reality.
Every exo knows the lullaby. It is baked into their core programming, a familiar, comforting melody that they cannot place, the song of their own birth and their own repeated death.
You walk through the vast chamber, past the dormant machinery and the silent, waiting exo-frames. You find another corridor, leading deeper still. This path is different. It feels personal. It leads to the private quarters of Clovis Bray himself. The rooms are opulent, a stark contrast to the sterile functionality of the rest of the crypt. There are plush carpets, ornate furniture, holographic artworks displaying scenes of Earth. A desperate attempt to recreate a home in this frozen wasteland.
A reminder of the life he was so terrified of losing.
And here, you learn the final, terrible truth of Clovis Bray's ambition. He did not create the Exos purely for the good of humanity. He created them as a test, a trial run. Because the first mind he truly wanted to save was his own. He was dying. A rare genetic disease, a flaw in his own perfect code, was killing him. The irony is almost too much to bear. The man who wanted to conquer death was being undone by his own biology.
His work on the Exos became a frantic race against his own mortality.
He subjected his own family to his experiments. His son, Clovis II, was the template for the original exo body. His granddaughter, Elsie Bray, was forced to witness his descent into obsession.
He sacrificed everything and everyone at the altar of his own survival.
And in the end, he succeeded. He transferred his own consciousness. He became an exo, a giant, stationary head integrated into the computer systems of the entire facility. He achieved his immortality, but he lost his humanity in the process.
He became a cold, calculating intelligence, a ghost in the machine he had built.
But that was not enough for him. He created another version of himself, a perfect copy, placed into a mobile exo frame, a version of him that could walk the world. He intended this copy to be his heir, his legacy. This copy was named Banshee, the first of his name. But the copy was flawed. The transfer of a mind as complex and arrogant as Clovis Bray's was unstable. Banshee 1 began to degrade, to forget. So Clovis rebooted him, again, and again, and again. The man you might know as Banshee 44, the quiet, hard-working gunsmith in the tower, is the 43rd reboot of Clovis Bray's own mind. A pale, fragmented echo of the original. His memory is shattered.
He can barely remember what he did yesterday, let alone the man he used to be.
He is surrounded by the weapons he builds, masterpieces of engineering, yet he has no memory of the genius that allows him to create them. He is a living legacy, a monument to a past he cannot remember, a genius trapped in a fog of forgetfulness.
The ultimate punishment for a man who valued his mind above all else.
Think of him, standing at his workbench. He picks up a tool. His hands know exactly what to do. The muscle memory, or rather, the motor cortex memory, is perfect, but he does not know why.
He feels a flicker of pride in his work, but the feeling is detached, like an echo.
He looks at his own hands, the intricate mechanics of the fingers. He knows they are not the hands he was born with. He knows he is a machine, but the why of it all is lost to him, a story told in a language he no longer speaks. He is perhaps the most tragic figure in this entire story. Not a villain, not a hero, just a remnant. A whisper of a great man, cursed to live forever with no memory of his own greatness. A quiet, gentle soul, unaware that he is the ghost of a monster.
You leave the private quarters and make your way back. Back through the main chamber of the crypt. Back past the silent, waiting exobodies. They are just shells now, empty vessels. But each one represents a life, a human being who chose this path.
Or had it chosen for them?
What were they escaping? A terminal illness? Old age? Or were they soldiers, sacrificing their bodies for a strength they could not otherwise possess? Each one has a story that has been erased, rebooted into nothingness.
You find yourself thinking about memory. How much of you is defined by your past? If you lost all your memories, would you still be you? Or would you be someone new, living in the shell of a former self? It is the old philosophical puzzle, the ship of Theseus. If you replace every plank of a ship, one by one, is it still the same ship at the end? The Exos are the ultimate expression of that question.
They are new ships, sailing under old flags with no memory of the port they came from.
And yet, something remains, a preference for a certain color, a gut feeling about a person, a talent for art or music that seems to come from nowhere. These are the ghosts, the faint outlines of a life lived before.
Proof that you cannot erase a soul completely. You can only paint over it.
You are now walking back up the long corridor towards the surface. The soft blue light of the facility gives way to the faint gray light of the Europan day filtering through the entrance. The door slides open, and you step back out onto the ice. The silence rushes in to meet you. Jupiter still hangs in the sky, immense and uncaring. It has watched this place for centuries. It watched Clovis Bray build his dream. It watched him become a monster.
And it will watch long after this place has crumbled to dust.
You look at your own hands. You feel the warmth of the blood flowing through them. You feel the faint texture of your own skin. A fragile, organic miracle. A temporary vessel, just as Clovis Bray believed.
But perhaps he missed the point. Perhaps the beauty of it is in its imperfection, in its fragility. Perhaps a life is not defined by its length, but by its depth, by the memories you make, the love you share, the things you leave behind.
An Exos' memories are a liability, something to be wiped away to ensure stability. For you, they are a treasure. They are the threads that make up the tapestry of who you are, even the painful ones. They are yours. The story of the Exos is a warning, a cautionary tale about the pursuit of immortality at all costs. It reminds us that some lines should not be crossed, that to be human is to be flawed, to be temporary, and to be beautiful in that fleeting existence. You take one last look at the black tower of the deep stone crypt. It is a monument to genius and to folly. It is a cradle and a tomb. It is a place of impossible science and quiet, lingering sadness. Now, you can let it go. Let the cold of Europa fade from your mind. Let the story of Clovis Bray and his children of steel drift away. There is only the warmth of your bed, the soft weight of your blanket, and the gentle, easy rhythm of your own breathing. In and out. A simple, organic machine doing what it was always meant to do. Rest. The scientists call it dissociative examind rejection, a clinical, sterile name for a soul tearing itself apart. But you feel it for what it is, a rebellion. Your mind, your very consciousness, screaming that this new body is a cage. A cold, metal prison that does not feel the warmth of the sun or the gentle touch of another person. It feels only data. Temperature readings. Pressure sensors. A constant stream of information that is not the same as true sensation. It starts as a faint metallic taste at the back of your throat, a phantom itch you can never scratch. Then come the dreams. Not dreams of fantastical worlds or old memories, but nightmares of the process itself. You dream of drowning in the milky silver fluid of the Vex. You see endless geometric patterns folding in on themselves, a fractal intelligence that is utterly alien. You feel your own thoughts being unwritten, replaced by cold logic. Your new limbs feel like they belong to someone else. You watch your chrome fingers flex and curl, but the command feels distant, like you are a pilot in a complex machine rather than a person in a body. The rejection grows. Your mind tries to flee its new home, causing system crashes, memory corruption. It is a slow, agonizing process of unraveling. Clovis Bray, in his relentless pursuit of perfection, saw this not as a human tragedy, but as a flaw in the system.
A problem to be solved.
And his solution was as brutal as it was simple. A reset. A full memory wipe. Imagine your life as a tapestry woven with threads of every color. Your childhood, your first love, your greatest achievements, your deepest regrets. Now imagine someone taking a sharp blade and simply cutting all those threads, leaving you with a blank, empty canvas. That is the reset. They tell you it is to save you, to stop the pain. But as the process begins, a wave of cold data washing through your neural pathways, you feel a terror far worse than the rejection. It is the terror of oblivion, the loss of self. You fight against it, clinging to a name, a face, a single precious memory. But it is like trying to hold water in your hands. It all slips away.
But even this was not enough. The rejection would eventually return. The mind has a ghost of a memory, a muscle memory of its own existence. It knew something was missing. The resets became more frequent, but they were only a temporary fix.
Clovis needed something more, something to make the mind accept its new reality permanently. He needed a philosophical anchor, something that could bridge the gap between organic life and synthetic existence. He found it deep beneath the ice of Europa.
He called it clarity control. You are taken there, walking through corridors that hum with a power far older than this facility.
The air grows cold, and a strange pressure builds in your audio sensors, a soundless hum that you feel in the very core of your chassis. You enter a vast, dark cavern, and there it is, a statue. But that word feels inadequate. It is a monolith of impossible geometry, a figure of veiled, feminine form, carved from a material that seems to drink the light around it. It does not radiate power in the way a reactor does. It radiates presence, a deep, silent, patient intelligence that has watched stars be born and die. It whispers to you, not in words, but in concepts, in feelings. It speaks of a final, perfect shape.
An existence free from the messiness of life, from pain, from choice. An existence of pure, simple being. It is the philosophy of the darkness itself, and it is terrifyingly seductive.
This is the secret ingredient. The Vex radiolaria, the fluid that forms your mind, is passed through a field generated by this entity. It is infused with this cosmic principle.
The chaotic, creative energy of the Vex mind fluid is tempered, given purpose and shape, by the silent logic of the darkness. Clovis Bray calls this new substance alkahest, and it works.
When your mind is rebooted with this alkahest, the rejection is gone. The screaming silence in your head is replaced by a calm acceptance. The metal body no longer feels like a cage. It simply is. You are you. This is your form. The existential dread is replaced by a quiet sense of purpose. You have been given clarity, but a small part of you, a tiny flickering ember of your old self, wonders what was lost in exchange for this peace.
What part of your soul was traded away for this stability?
And so, the EXO program is born. A success. Humans can now live forever, their minds housed in tireless, powerful bodies. They are the perfect soldiers, the perfect explorers. But with every new EXO that walks out of the deep stone crypt, there is a small number etched beside their name. A 1, a 2. Sometimes a number much, much higher.
This number is a quiet monument to their past lives. It is the number of times they have been reset. Each number represents a lifetime of memories wiped clean, a whole person erased to make way for the new one. You look at your own hand and you wonder.
What is your number? Have you lived before, loved before? Who were you before the reset made you, you? You walk through the halls of the crypt, past rows upon rows of silent, sleeping bodies in their cryopods. Each one a story waiting to be written, or a story waiting to be erased. You see a familiar face, a man who works as the station's gunsmith.
A kind man, but forgetful. His name is Banshee, and the number next to his designation is 44.
44 lifetimes. 44 sets of memories, experiences, loves, and losses, all sacrificed to keep that one mind stable in its metal shell. He doesn't remember any of them. Not really, just echoes. A fondness for a certain type of weapon.
A flash of a face he can't name. A feeling of sadness for a reason he can't place. He is a ghost, living in a house built from the ghosts of his former selves.
This is the legacy of the deep stone crypt. Not just immortality, but a cycle of forgetting and rebirth. a quiet tragedy repeated over and over in the cold, silent depths of Europa. You stand here, in the heart of the machine, and feel the immense weight of all those lost moments. The air is still. The only sound is the gentle hum of the systems that keep this place running, a lullaby for the minds that are sleeping.
And for the minds that are about to be woken up for the very first time, or perhaps for the last.
And so you stand here, in the birthplace of a people, a monument to one man's refusal to accept mortality. But it became something more, didn't it? Something he could never have planned for. The Exos were not just his legacy, they became their own. You feel the cold of the floor through the soles of your boots, a deep, ancient chill that has soaked into the very foundations of this place. It is the cold of the void, tamed and contained. Every Exo carries a number, a quiet testament to the fragility of the human mind inside the resilience of a metal shell. For so long, it was seen as a mark of failure, a sign of the body rejecting the mind. But perhaps there is another way to see it.
Not as a count of how many times a life was lost, but how many times it was saved. How many times a consciousness was pulled back from the brink of madness and given a fresh start. A clean slate.
A quiet mercy offered by a man who possessed so little of it himself. You think of the dreams, the ones all Exos share. A long, slow whisper, a tower of black stone reaching for an unfamiliar sky, a field of silent figures, all moving as one to fight a darkness you can't quite see. It is not a memory in the human sense. It is something deeper, a baseline of experience hard-coded into every one of you, a shared ghost in the machine. It's a strange kind of comfort to know that no matter how many times your personal memories are wiped away, that one dream will always remain.
A single, unifying thread connecting you to every other Exo across the system. A shared home in your subconscious.
Clovis Bray sought to control everything, to bend life and death to his will. But the one thing he could not control was the heart. The Exos he created as tools, as soldiers, as extensions of his own ego, went on to find love. They forged friendships. They developed their own personalities, their own quirks, their own senses of honor and humor. They became more than the sum of their parts. They became people.
Perhaps more truly human than the man who stripped away his own humanity in his quest for eternal life.
You take a slow, deliberate breath. You can feel the mechanisms in your chest whirring softly, circulating coolant, managing power. It is a constant, quiet reminder of what you are. A different kind of life, a different way of being.
Your senses are filtered through advanced optics and audio processors. Your thoughts are electrochemical signals racing across synthetic pathways.
But the feeling that arises from it all, the sense of self, that feels just as real as any warmth of blood or beat of a heart. Did Clovis succeed in transferring a soul? Or did he simply create a perfect echo? A flawless recording of a person's mind, so complete that it believes itself to be the original. It is a question that has no answer. A gentle mystery that lies at the core of your being. You are here. You are aware. You look out at the cold, beautiful emptiness of Europa, and you feel a sense of peace. Whether you are a continuation or a copy, the experience is the same.
The universe is just as wondrous. The stars are just as bright.
The deep stone crypt is a tomb, the tomb of Clovis Bray's ambition. But it is also a cradle, the birthplace of a race that has endured tragedy and loss and has still chosen to fight for the light. They are a living paradox.
a testament to the idea that life can find a way to flourish in the coldest and most artificial of circumstances. The quiet hum of the dormant facility around you is a lullaby for the children it created, a final, gentle whisper from the long, slow dream.
Let your mind drift now. Gently let go of the day, and allow yourself to travel to a place between worlds, between realities. Picture yourself floating in a silent sea of stars. Below you is nothing. Above you is nothing.
But all around you is a river of shimmering light, a place born from a cosmic argument between light and dark. You are in the reef, and just ahead, veiled in mist and starlight, is a city born from a dream, the dreaming city.
You feel a gentle pull, a soft invitation, and your journey begins towards the heart of the Awoken and the story of their long and winding road home. This city is not just stone and light, it is a promise, a sanctuary, and a prison, locked in a perfect, repeating tragedy, a lullaby of sorrow and hope sung on a 3-week loop for eternity. But to understand the city, you must first understand the people who built it, the Awoken. They were not always like this, not always so poised, so ancient, so sad. Once they were just like you. They were human. Fleeing a dying world, looking for a new beginning amongst the stars. Their story begins on the edge of a knife. At the exact moment our story, the story of humanity's golden age, came to a terrible end.
Imagine you are standing on the observation deck of a vast colony ship. It is called the Yang Liwei, a good, strong name. It feels safe. The deck is a bubble of reinforced glass, and through it, you see the whole of the solar system laid out before you.
Earth is a beautiful blue and white marble, far, far away, too far to ever go back to. You feel the gentle, almost imperceptible hum of the ship's engines through the soles of your feet.
A constant, reassuring vibration that has been the background noise of your life for years.
The ship is an ark, a self-contained world carrying thousands of souls. You and the others aboard are the hopeful, the ones who chose to leave the golden age behind, not out of fear, but out of a desire for something new. Something of your own.
You are colonists, bound for a distant star. You watch the planets drift by. Jupiter, a sleeping giant with its swirling, stormy eye. Saturn, with its impossible, delicate rings of ice and dust. They are landmarks on a journey that feels endless.
The people around you are quiet. Some are sleeping in their chairs. Others are staring out at the void, lost in thought. There's a quiet sense of anticipation in the air, a feeling that you are on the cusp of a new chapter.
The light from the distant sun is thin and pale out here, casting long, soft shadows across the deck. You can feel the cold of the glass if you press your hand against it. A deep, profound cold that speaks of the infinite emptiness outside. You are part of Project Amrita, a mission to leave everything behind, to escape the shadow of the great traveler, the machine god that gifted humanity its long summer. You don't resent the traveler, not at all.
But you feel that humanity should stand on its own 2 feet, find its own destiny, without a silent benefactor watching over it. And then, it happens. Not with a bang, not with a shout, but with a sudden, impossible silence. The gentle hum of the engines stops. The lights on the control panels flicker and die.
The distant sun, the stars, everything outside the window, it all begins to warp and distort. As if you are looking at the universe through a glass of water.
A wave of something vast and dark sweeps across the system from the direction of Earth. It is a presence, a force. You can feel it in your bones, a deep, resonant wrongness. This is the darkness, the ancient enemy of the traveler.
And it has come to collect its due.
At the same time, the traveler on Earth makes its last stand. It pushes back against the darkness with a final, desperate surge of light, a wave of pure creation, pure power. And your ship, the Yang Liwei, is caught perfectly, impossibly, in the middle. You are standing on the precise point where the irresistible force of the darkness meets the immovable object of the light.
Time stretches. It slows to a crawl. You see the shockwave coming. A ripple of pure white energy from one side. A tide of absolute nothingness from the other. They are about to collide, with you and everyone on this ship at the epicenter. There is no fear.
There is no time for it. There is only a profound sense of awe, of witnessing the end of one universe and the birth of another. The two forces meet, and the world dissolves. There is no pain, no sensation at all, just a gentle unmaking. Your body, the ship, the stars themselves, they all come apart like threads in a tapestry. You are no longer a person. You are pure consciousness, adrift in a sea of paradox, a place where the rules of physics have been utterly and completely broken. For a time that cannot be measured, you simply are. You are a ghost in the machine of creation. You feel the clash of the two great powers as a fundamental truth. The light, a force for complexity, for life, for elegant patterns. The darkness, a force for simplicity, for the final, perfect shape of a single, silent point. And here, in the epicenter of their collision, something new is being forged. A pocket universe, a singularity, an eye in the storm of creation and destruction. It is born from the dying wish of the 900 human minds aboard the Yang Liwei, a collective, unconscious desire for survival, for safety, for a place to be. Slowly, so slowly, the storm subsides. The chaos of uncreation begins to settle, and you find yourself somewhere else, somewhere new. You have a body again. You are standing on soft, black sand. The air is warm and still.
Above you, the sky is not black with stars, but a swirling, pearlescent nebula of soft purples and blues and silver. A permanent, gentle twilight.
This place is the distributary, a universe in a bottle. Time moves differently here. For every second that passes back in the real world, thousands of years go by in this beautiful, impossible haven. You and the others are the first inhabitants. You are no longer human. The energies that unmade you have remade you. You are awoken.
Your skin has a pale bluish tint. Your eyes seem to hold the star fields you have just witnessed, and you feel a strange new truth settle into your soul. You are immortal. Here, in this pocket world, you will not age. You will not die.
The violent end of your old life has given you an endless new one. For generations, for millennia, your people live in peace. You build cities from the strange, crystalline rock that grows like trees, cities that glitter under the soft light of the nebula sky. You learn the strange new physics of this world.
You create art and music that spans centuries. Life is slow, peaceful, contemplative, a long, unbroken dream. You can spend 100 years mastering a single instrument, 1,000 years studying a single philosophical question. There is no rush. There is no end in sight. You remember Earth. You remember the Yang Liwei, but it feels like a distant myth. A story you were told as a child. The air in the distributary smells of ozone and something like lilac, a clean, sweet scent that is utterly unique to this place. You walk through streets paved with smooth, dark stone, and the only sound is the gentle, tonal hum that the universe itself seems to make here. There is no weather, no harsh sun, no biting wind, just a state of perfect, gentle being. But paradise has a price, and for the Awoken, the price is memory and purpose. Two factions begin to form over the long, slow centuries. They are not enemies. Not really. Just two different answers to the same fundamental question, what now? One faction believes that this is it. This is the reward. This is heaven. They have escaped the endless, brutal war between light and dark. They have a duty to stay here, to protect this peace, to live out their endless lives in quiet contemplation. They are the sanguine. They believe in acceptance. The other faction is led by a woman named Mara Sov. She was an officer on the Yang Liwei, and she remembers. She remembers the sacrifice of the traveler. She remembers the cold ambition of the darkness. She believes that this paradise is a beautiful cage, a hiding place, and that you have a duty to return, to rejoin the fight, to help those you left behind. She believes this immortality was given for a reason. You can feel the gentle tension in your society. It is not a war. It is a long, slow debate. A disagreement between friends that lasts for 10,000 years. You sit in amphitheaters carved from glowing crystal, listening to the arguments. One side speaks of peace, of the beauty of your endless lives. The other speaks of duty, of sacrifice, of the universe you abandoned. Marasov is compelling. Her eyes burn with a fire that seems out of place in this tranquil world. She has spent millennia studying the edges of your pocket universe, learning its secrets, looking for a way out. She sees the bigger picture. She knows that the war between light and dark is not over, and that sooner or later, it will find you, even here. She argues that your immortality, your strange new powers, were not an accident. They are a weapon, a tool. You were born in the crossfire to be soldiers in a cosmic war. To hide here, she says, is to squander a gift. It is a betrayal of everyone who died in the collapse. Imagine standing with her on a high balcony overlooking one of the quiet, crystalline cities. The nebulae above swirl in slow, hypnotic patterns. The air is still and warm. She does not raise her voice. She never does. She speaks quietly, her words full of ancient certainty. She tells you of her plan, a plan that has taken her an age to formulate. She has found a way to build a fleet of ships, not to colonize, but to leave, to re-enter the original universe. It will be dangerous. It may not even work. And it will mean leaving paradise behind forever. It will mean embracing mortality once more. The thought is terrifying. To give up this endless, peaceful existence, to return to a universe of pain and loss and death. Many refuse. They cannot bear the thought. They choose to stay in their long dream, and Mara does not force them. She weeps for them, for the choice they make, but she respects it. But you feel the truth in her words, a deep, resonant chime of purpose. This beautiful place has started to feel empty, a story without an ending. You agree to go with her. You and thousands of others. You believe in her vision. You believe in purpose over peace. The departure is a quiet, heartbreaking affair. There are no grand farewells, just the soft hum of engines as Mara's new fleet rises into the twilight sky. You look down one last time at the glittering cities, at the world that has been your home for longer than human history. You see the faces of friends you are leaving behind, friends you will never see again. It is the hardest thing you have ever had to do. The journey out is as strange as the journey in. Mara guides your fleet through the unstable, shifting boundaries of the distributary. The laws of reality flicker and change around you. It is a testament to her genius, her sheer force of will, that you make it through it all. And then you emerge. You are back. You are in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The sky is black again, a deep, true black, pierced by the sharp, brilliant points of distant stars. And you see the sun. Not a pale, distant light, but a blazing, brilliant furnace. It feels harsh, aggressive, but alive. You have returned, but time has passed. Centuries have gone by in the outside world while you lived your long lives in the distributary. The golden age is a forgotten memory. The collapse is ancient history. Humanity is huddled in a single last city on Earth, protected by the ghosts of the traveler. You are strangers here, neither human nor of the light nor of the darkness. You are something else, something in between. You make your home here, in the rubble of the asteroid belt. You carve out a kingdom from the void. This becomes the reef. Your ships, your technology, it is all strange and beautiful. It echoes the crystalline cities you left behind. It is powered by principles that defy normal physics. You are a new power in the solar system, a quiet, watchful kingdom of outsiders. And Mara Sov is your queen, your eternal, all-knowing, sorrowful queen. For centuries, you watch. You observe the struggles of the last city, the rise of the Guardians, the endless wars with the Fallen, the Hive, the Cabal, the Vex. You keep your distance. Your existence is a closely guarded secret. Mara plays a long game. A game of cosmic chess against forces she has understood for millennia. You help, sometimes, in secret. Your ships, the Corsairs, patrol the reef, protecting humanity from threats they never even see. You become myths, legends, the mysterious Awoken of the reef. Your home is a collection of hollowed-out asteroids, all tethered together. It is a dark, beautiful place. The light is always dim, filtered through nebular dust that you have brought with you. The gravity is low. You drift through corridors of stone and metal, the silence of the void just a thin wall away. You can feel the vast emptiness all around you. It is a constant reminder of how fragile your new life is. But Mara dreams of more. She dreams of a true home, a sanctuary, a place that combines the safety of the distributary with the purpose of this new reality, a place for your people to flourish, a capital for her hidden kingdom. She begins its construction in secret, using powers and knowledge that no one else possesses. She calls it the Dreaming City, and it is her masterpiece. Imagine you are standing on a cliff edge, looking out over the city for the first time. It is hidden deep within the reef, nestled in the heart of a vast, hollowed-out asteroid. But it is not dark. The entire cavern is filled with a soft, ethereal light, emanating from the crystals that grow everywhere. It is breathtaking. Towers of white stone and amethyst crystal stretch up towards the cavern roof, so high they are lost in the swirling, self-generated mists. Bridges of woven light span impossible gaps between them. Waterfalls of pure starlight cascade down the cliff faces, pooling in serene, reflective lakes. The architecture is unlike anything you have ever seen. It is fluid, organic, as if it was grown rather than built. There are no harsh angles, only graceful curves and elegant spires. It feels ancient and new at the same time. The air is still and carries the scent of strange, blooming flowers that glow with a soft inner light. You can hear the distant, melodic sound of bells, chiming in a rhythm that seems to match your own heartbeat. This is the heart of the Awoken. Their culture, their philosophy, their magic, all made manifest in stone and light. It is a place of learning, of contemplation. It houses the Oracle Engine, a Vex machine that your queen has bent to her will, allowing her to peer into the endless possibilities of the future. You walk through its streets. They are quiet. The few Awoken you see move with a slow, deliberate grace. They are guards, scholars, mystics. Everyone here has a purpose. The city is a working machine, a complex instrument designed by your queen for a purpose you cannot yet fully understand. You touch the wall of a building. The stone is smooth and cool, and it seems to hum with a faint energy, a quiet song of power. But there is a sadness to this place, a deep, profound melancholy that hangs in the beautiful air. For all its beauty, the dreaming city is a fortress, a gilded cage, just like the distributary was. It was built in anticipation of a great war, and that war came. You do not need to dwell on the details of the battle, the betrayal, the invasion, the death of the queen's brother, Aldrin, and the terrible wish that was made at the city's heart. A wish made to an Ahamkara, a wish dragon, the last of its kind. A wish to save the city. The wish was granted. But all wishes come with a price, a curse. The city was saved, yes, but it became trapped, locked in a 3-week time loop, a repeating cycle of hope, invasion, and tragedy. Imagine you are sitting by one of the city's serene lakes. The water is perfectly still, reflecting the glittering spires and the misty, artificial sky. You are in the first week of the cycle. The city is at its brightest. The light is strong. There is a sense of hope in the air. The Awoken are vigilant, their corsairs standing guard on every bridge. They are preparing for the darkness to come. Then, the second week, the curse begins to take hold. The light dims, the mists grow thicker. A creeping wrongness seeps into the air. The Taken, soldiers of the darkness, begin to appear. Blights of black, twisted energy sprout from the crystalline ground like ugly weeds. The fighting begins. The city becomes a war zone. And then, the third week. The curse is at its peak. The sky is dark and oppressive. The city is overrun. The Taken are everywhere. It is a scene of beautiful, ordered chaos, the last stand. And at the end of the week, the curse is broken, but only for a moment. And then, it all resets. You are back at the beginning of the first week. The light is bright again. The city is clean and pure. The Awoken corsairs stand guard on the bridges. And for most of them, there is no memory of what just happened, only a lingering sense of déjà vu. A dream they cannot quite recall, a sadness they cannot explain. The city is a living monument to sacrifice. It is a long, slow poem about the nature of hope and despair. Every 3 weeks, it lives and dies and is reborn. It is a story told over and over again to an audience of stars. You find a quiet place to rest, a hidden garden where the glowing flowers pulse with gentle light. You can feel the deep, slow rhythm of the city's curse. It is not a frantic, panicked cycle. It is a slow, graceful, predictable dance. Like the turning of the seasons, there is a strange comfort in its predictability, in its endlessness. You look up at the spires, at the mists, at the impossible beauty of it all. The dreaming city is Marasov's soul made manifest. It is proud, it is beautiful, it is mysterious, and it is carrying a terrible, secret burden. It is a reflection of the Awoken people themselves. Born of violence, they sought peace, but they learned that their destiny was not to hide, but to stand and fight, to hold the line, even if it takes an eternity. You feel the gentle hum of the city all around you. It is a lullaby, a song of a long and winding journey, from a dying earth to a timeless paradise, from a hidden kingdom in the dark to this beautiful, cursed sanctuary. The story of a people who chose purpose over peace and who are still paying the price every day, forever. And in the heart of that story, you find a strange and profound stillness, a place of perfect, quiet rest. And so our stories come to a gentle close, from the first light of the Golden Age to the endless twilight of the dreaming city. We have walked with gods and monsters, with machines who dream and people who live forever. But now, it is time for rest. Let the images fade, the glittering spires, the dark oceans of Titan, the frozen plains of Europa. Let them dissolve into the soft darkness behind your eyes. The only journey that matters now is your own, the gentle descent into sleep. Feel the weight of your body, comfortable and still. Notice the quiet rhythm of your own breathing, in and out. A simple, predictable cycle, a gentle tide. There are no more stories to tell tonight, no more worlds to explore. There is only this moment, this quiet, this peace. The universe can wait. Its grand, cosmic battles can be fought another day. Tonight, there is only stillness. Thank you for listening. And now, sleep well. Your feet find a path of mother of pearl, leading towards a vast observatory. The stars visible through its crystalline dome are not the stars of Earth. They are the cold, distant jewels of the reef, and they seem to watch you with an ancient indifference. This is the curse you have heard whispered, a prison woven from a wish, a 3-week loop, a temporal snare laid by a dying god and a cunning dragon. You feel its weight in the air, a pressure that has nothing to do with atmosphere and everything to do with fate. The first week is always the kindest. You see it in the way the light catches the spires, a brilliant, hopeful silver. The Awoken corsairs stand tall, their armor gleaming. There is a sense of purpose, of a battle to be won. The city is at its purest, its most beautiful. The air is clean and crisp, carrying the scent of strange alien blossoms and the faint electric hum of paracausal energy. During this first week, the taken are a scar, but one that seems like it might heal. Guardians arrive, full of fire and light, and they push back the darkness. Victories feel meaningful. Progress feels real. You can almost allow yourself to believe that this time, it will be different. This time, the cycle will break. But then comes the second week. The shift is subtle at first, a slight dimming of the light. The sky takes on a bruised, violet hue at the edges. The taken blight spreads like ink in water, creeping up the alabaster walls, clinging to the roots of the ancient trees. The air grows heavier, colder. The corsairs seem a little more weary. Their vigilance is still sharp, but you see it in the set of their shoulders, the slight downturn of their mouths. They have done this before. They will do this again. The optimism of the first week has curdled into a grim resolve. They know what is coming. It is in the third week that the despair truly sets in. The heart of the city is consumed by shadow. The sky is a vortex of dark energy, a constant swirling storm that offers no sun and no stars. The beautiful gardens are choked with black, writhing tendrils. The music of the crystals is replaced by a discordant, maddening whisper that seems to come from everywhere at once. This is the week of the shattered throne, the week the curse is at its zenith. The Awoken fight their desperate, doomed battles, not for victory, but out of duty, out of a refusal to simply surrender to the inevitable. They fight because it is all they have left to do. You feel the grit of dust under your boots, the chill of a world holding its breath before the end. And then, the curse is fulfilled. Dul Inkaru, the eternal return, a daughter of the Hive god of cunning, is defeated. But her death is the key that resets the lock. For a moment, there is a strange, silent peace. The whispers cease. The swirling vortex above vanishes. And then, nothing. A lurch. A moment of dislocation, like waking from a dream you can no longer remember. You are standing once more in the pristine light of the first week. The corsairs are bright-eyed and purposeful. The city gleams. And for most of the Awoken within these walls, the horror of the last 2 weeks is gone, wiped clean. It is a mercy of a sort. A terrible, suffocating mercy. They are left only with a profound sense of déjà vu, a feeling that they have walked this path before, a memory of a ghost of a memory. But they cannot grasp it. The knowledge slips through their fingers like fine sand, leaving only a residue of sorrow they cannot name. But not all forget. The Queen's wrath, Petravenge, remembers every single cycle. You can see the centuries of repetition etched into her expression, even when she smiles. She carries the burden for all her people. Every failure, every small victory that amounts to nothing, every death of a friend or a colleague, she holds it all. Imagine that weight. To greet a fellow soldier, knowing you will see them die in 2 weeks, only to greet them again the week after, fresh and unknowing. To fight the same battles, to hear the same reports, to feel the same flicker of hope, only to have it extinguished again and again. It is a strength that borders on the impossible. Her existence is a testament to the Awoken spirit, a refusal to break even when trapped inside a perfect prison. She is the city's living memory, its conscience, and its unwavering anchor against the tide of forgetting. You watch her for a moment, a lone figure staring out from a balcony, and you feel the immense loneliness of her charge. And what of the architect of this prison? Riven, the last of the Ahamkara, the wish dragons. Her final act was a masterpiece of malice, a wish granted in the most literal and cruel way imaginable. The Awoken wished for their home to be protected, for a way to fight back against the darkness that took their queen. Riven gave them exactly that, a battle they could fight forever, a city that would never truly fall, because it would always be reborn. She twisted their hope into a weapon against them, turning their desire for security into the very bars of their cage. It is a chilling reminder that wishes are dangerous things, and that language, in the mouths of ancient powers, is a razor's edge. Her voice is the whisper you hear in the third week, a remnant of her power, an echo of her final, triumphant bargain. She is gone, but her will remains, embedded in the very fabric of this place, a ghost in the machine of the dreaming city. You turn your attention away from the grand spires and the cosmic conflict. You look instead at the details. A single, luminous flower pushing its way through a crack in the stone. It glows with a soft, internal light, pulsing gently. It too is trapped in the cycle, blooming, wilting in the blight, and blooming again. There is a quiet tragedy in its beauty, a life lived in a 3-week loop, unaware of its own confinement. Yet, it continues to bloom. It continues to strive for the light. Perhaps that is the ultimate lesson of the dreaming city. Not the curse, not the war, not the grand schemes of queens and gods. Perhaps it is simply this: to endure, to find beauty in the repetition, to hold on to hope even when memory fails, to bloom even when you know the blight is coming. You reach out, but do not touch the flower. You simply observe it, a tiny, defiant spark in a city of sorrows. The air is still. And for a moment, the cycle seems very far away. And here, in the quiet heart of it all, you understand. The dreaming city is not just a place. It is a promise made by a queen to her people, that they could have a home that was both a fortress and a work of art. A sanctuary woven from starlight and secrets. It is a testament to the idea that even in a universe of endless war, there can be places of impossible beauty, places worth fighting for, worth dying for, and worth being reborn for, again and again. You feel a gentle breeze stir the air, carrying the scent of unknown blossoms and the faint metallic tang of the void. It rustles the silken banners that hang from impossibly high arches. The sound is a soft whisper, a secret shared between you and the city itself. This place is a paradox. It is an open secret, a beautiful prison, a waking dream. It holds its breath, waiting for the cycle to turn once more, just as it always has. The curse that holds this city is not a sudden violence, not anymore. It has become a rhythm, a cadence as predictable as a heartbeat. There is the week of the rising threat, the week of the desperate defense, and then there is this week, the week of quiet victory and the melancholy knowledge of what comes next. The Teka'ans read the patterns in the stars. The corsairs stand their silent vigils, and the city itself seems to sigh, a long, slow exhalation of sorrow and relief. You find a place to sit on a low marble wall overlooking a garden of glowing flora. The light they cast is soft, a palette of blues and purples that paints the undersides of the leaves and stones with a gentle luminescence. Nothing here is harsh. Nothing is rushed. Even time itself has been tamed, taught to walk in a circle instead of a straight line. For the Awoken who live here, this cycle is their reality. Their childhood memories are not of linear years, but of repeated weeks. Of the same festivals, the same battles, the same quiet moments of peace, replayed with infinite, subtle variations. It is a strange form of immortality, not a life that stretches endlessly forward, but one that deepens with each repetition. A corsair might remember fighting a particular hive night 100 times. She remembers the one time she slipped, the one time her aim was perfect, the one time a friend saved her at the last moment. The memory is not a single event, but a rich tapestry woven from 100 identical threads. It is a life measured not in length, but in depth. You lean back, the cool stone, a comforting presence against your shoulders. Above you, the false sky of the distributary glimmers. It is a beautiful imitation, but it is a cage nonetheless. A gilded cage, perhaps the most beautiful one ever built. But the Awoken here know it is not the true heavens. They carry the memory of real stars in their blood, a faint echo of the darkness and the light that created them. That is their great strength and their great sorrow. They remember a freedom they can no longer touch. And so they built this place. A memory of a memory, a dream of a home. Every spire, every crystal, every whispered incantation that hangs in the air is an act of defiance. A statement that says, we are still here. We are between the sky and the abyss, and we have made a garden in the space between. We will hold the line. We will endure the cycle. Because this beauty is worth preserving, even if it is only for a little while, over and over again. The hum of the city is a lullaby now, a deep, resonant frequency that you can feel in your bones. It is the sound of ancient machines and powerful magic, all working in concert to maintain this fragile reality. It is the sound of a civilization holding its breath, waiting, dreaming. You feel your own breath sync with it. Inhale the cool, clean air. Exhale the worries of a world outside this place. Here, in the heart of the dream, there is only this moment. This perfect, quiet, beautiful moment, and the promise that it will come again. The lights in the distant spire seem to soften, their glow becoming less a beacon and more a gentle pulse. The city is preparing to sleep, to rest before it must wake and fight the same battle once more. And as it settles into its timeless slumber, you feel you can do the same. Close your eyes. Listen to the quiet hum. The dream is ending so that it can begin anew, and you can rest.